What's up guys, Varrook here, and finally today the 2.0 patch has been released within World of Kings, and with it comes a myriad of new additions including a new race, new dungeons, new raids, and of course a new way to upgrade your legendary weapon. I have already changed my character over to the new Nightborn race because frankly I'm just loving it, and today I'm going to teach you how to upgrade your legendary weapon up to that tier 6. Now there are a few things that are different, so first thing you want to do is open up your inventory and then click on the legend tab on the right hand corner. And as you see here, if you scroll on the very top here, it goes from phase 3 to phase 4 with that nice blue aura, to phase 5 with that cool looking red aura, and then finally to phase 6 with that disgustingly awesome looking purple aura. Now, what the developers have done is they have changed the way that you upgrade your legendary weapons. Instead of acquiring all these materials and then upgrading it in one big chunk, they actually made it more of a progressive system, a progressive upgrade system. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how to go about upgrading your weapons now. So as you can see, I have my tier 3 weapon here, and if you look here, we have 25 out of 13 shards. You still need the dragon crystals on the bottom, and then there's this new item called a black dragon essence. Now there are two ways of acquiring this essence, the first of which is by completing an overlord dungeon. Now I'm only level 64, and you currently cannot enter overlord dungeons until you reach the max level, just as it was previously. So as soon as I hit level 70, I'll be going into these overlord dungeons and getting these black dragon essences. The second and only other way I know of acquiring this black dragon essence is through the dragon horde. If you go to your main menu, click on event and go down to the dragon horde tab, you'll see here that every day they have these random auctions with random items, and if you simply just invest in whatever currency they're asking you to invest in, you will get a chance at winning that item. And also in addition, you will have a guaranteed return in the form of these dragon scales. You'll see here underneath this epic mastery cube, every time you invest 10 blue diamonds, you'll get 20 of these dragon scales in return, and so on and so forth. And the way to actually look and see how many you've acquired and how many you've accumulated is by going to the upper right hand corner and clicking on this icon next to dragon scale shop. Here you have a myriad of items that are actually redeemable with those dragon scales. So even if you don't get the item from the dragon horde itself, take your time and acquire all these dragon scales and then use them to purchase items through this shop here. And as you can see, you can actually purchase 2 of these black dragon essences per week with these dragon scales here. Now, I don't know exactly what the return on these black dragon essences are going to be from the overlords every day. So as of right now, I can only speculate as to whether or not you're going to have to purchase 2 of these per week. If you're going to have to purchase 2 of these per week, I would probably advise just investing in either the blue diamond spawn or the gold spawn. Stay away from the ticket spawn unless you really want the item that's coming out of there. So with that being said, that's how you acquire those items. One thing to note about the way that they changed this, you'll notice here, if you go back to your legend tab here, you'll see that, again, they've changed the currency of the fragments from being like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds down to 13 for the first phase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these items and go ahead and just forge it and upgrade it, and let's see what happens. And there you have it. I consume my shards, my dragon crystal, and my black dragon essence to go ahead and get a bit of a power boost there. Let me actually see what we're dealing with here. So my weapon went from 188 to 191. And it appears to me that these black dragon essences are going to be the main and primary means of sort of slowing you down in terms of your progression on this item. So in terms of progression, make sure every single day that you're doing your world quests as many times as you possibly can. Now, I think they actually just implemented this new thing here that with the large chest, you can claim 1 per day and it's unstackable. With the medium chest, you can claim it once per day instead of twice per day. It's also stackable up to 7 times. So if you happen to miss your medium chest 7 days in a row, you can do it 7 times in one day and claim all those chests, which will reward you with legendary shard boxes. Additionally, the small chest can be claimed twice per day and is stackable up to 10 times. So again, the way to progress and get your legendary shards is by doing these world quests every single day to go ahead and acquire your legendary shards chests. Now, I mentioned in my previous video on the legendary weapons that one way to kind of save time on upgrading your weapons is to find one that has a little bit more shards than the one that you're equipping, convert it to that one with a holy power ray, and then convert it back. At this point in the game with a legendary weapon at tier 3, that is no longer viable. So what you're going to want to do is just go ahead and convert everything you have into the weapon that you want. So no more finding a weapon with a higher amount of shards, converting it, upgrading it, then converting it back. That is just simply not going to do it. Now, one thing to note about these new phases of legendary weapons is that at phase 6, they actually have a different effect than the previous versions of the same weapon. So for example, when I get this to tier 5, it's going to have a stackable haste increase by a base value of 90, but when it reaches phase 6, it's going to go from a base value of 90 to a percentage base value. And so depending on what class you play and what stats you're going for, some of these other items that you can also equip might be more beneficial for your class when they actually reach phase 6. Now, what I would recommend doing, because for example, this sword on my class, this haste bonus that it gives me is tremendously valuable as opposed to the phase 3 counterpart with this Bat King staff. What I would recommend doing, I know it's going to cost a lot, but if you want to keep your numbers up while you're reaching phase 6 of your legendary weapon, which is going to take a very, very, very long time, I would recommend just keeping the same weapon that you have that's going to give you the biggest increase, and then when you get it to level 6, just go ahead and shell out the blue diamonds that it's going to cost to convert it to the next weapon. It's going to cost a lot, but just be mindful, save your blue diamonds for it, because it would be way, way worse to switch to a lesser or a weaker weapon at phase 3 and then spend all these months and months and months that it costs to save up enough items to go ahead and get your legendary weapon to phase 6, that you're just not going to have a really good quality of life in terms of gameplay. And so I would just advise stay with the thing that's going to give you the most damage, and then when you reach phase 6, then make a decision once people have done testing. These new legendary weapons are going to be the most highly sought after items in World of Kings, and I would advise you to just make sure that you're doing your dailies every single day and slowly acquiring all that you need to get these items. I know that because most people don't even have their phase 3 weapons yet, that the developers of this game are just going to be throwing legendary shards at us. That's usually what they do, is in an effort to catch everyone up, they throw legendary shards at people, they throw these materials at people so that they can catch up and feel like they don't get, left too far behind. So don't worry, don't be disheartened, just slowly work your way up, acquiring these resources, and before you know it, you will be endowed with this glorious phase 6 legendary weapon. Thank you very much for watching the video. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already, and I would like to take this time to just thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your support and all of your viewership. This has been Varuk. Enjoy your day.